There is some rain. It's been moving through parts of Clewiston. People there have been starting to arrive at shelters now for a couple hours.
And we go to our Michelle Casada live with more on what she's seeing there. Michelle.
Well, you know, the strong wind gusts and the heavy rain kind of comes and goes. We've had moments where we've seen that thick sheet of rain coming down at an angle and you can't even see much ahead of you, and then it calms down. Like right now, we're still seeing those wind gusts pick up, but the rain isn't so heavy right now. Just to give you an idea of where we are, we're in Clewiston at Clewiston High School, where they have opened up a shelter for people out here. And for people who are not familiar with the area, this is west of South Bay, west of western Palm Beach County. It's in the southwestern part of Lake Okeechobee. And we've seen many people come here tonight to this shelter, people who were coming from the west trying to evacuate their areas in Naples, Fort Myers, Bonita Springs, all of that, and they've come here to seek shelter. And really, we know the big story tonight has been and will be for the weekend Hurricane Irma, but also there's another big story going on, and just it's about how people have been helping each other, being kind to one another. I read something on Facebook today about how Mother Nature at its worst is human nature at its best. So we have seen that here. We have seen people helping each other. And just to give you an example, I talked to a man a little while ago who arrived here shortly from Bonita Springs. He had run out of gas on the side of the road and had local police help him, and National Guard actually help him once he got here to load all his pets into the shelter. Them here at the shelter accepting people with pets. So it's just been a remarkable story. We'll hear from him now.
The Sheriff's Department here in Clewiston and the Police Department are just the nicest people in the world. And they brought me 2 gallons of gas.
To get you here?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. And I saw that too when you arrived, the National Guard was here helping you out.
Yep.
What did they say? What did they say they were doing here?
Well, they're just helping anybody out. The National Guard is all over the place. I guess the governor told them all to come out and assist. So that's kind of nice.
Just incredible to see people helping each other out. We also saw earlier a woman who came into the shelter. She didn't even know she was going to be here at the shelter, had her 2 dogs and her cats, and people here at the shelter helped her out and brought her crates for her dogs. She didn't have crates because she didn't know she was going to be at a shelter. So definitely seeing that really warms your heart to see people helping each other out. And as you can see, conditions are worsening. We do have someone coming in here to the shelter now that EMS has brought in, and so it's just people helping each other out, trying to get people to safety, trying to get people to shelter as the conditions worsen and we see these feeder bands get a little stronger and stronger. So hopefully we won't be seeing too much crazy weather out here. We do see that people are helping each other out. You see a man bringing in water for someone else. So it's just incredible to see how many people are coming together during the conditions worsening. And I know that being on the roads right now is probably a scary thing if people are still trying to come from the west to the east. But Clewiston High School obviously still open and people can come here and hunker down during the storm. We'll try to keep you updated from out here. For now, back to you.
All right, Michelle.
Yeah, good job, Michelle. Thank you very much.
I want to take you right now to Michelle Casada. She's live in downtown West Palm Beach with more on what it looks like outside, not far from our studios right here on Banyan and Australian. Michelle, what's the situation like there? I know it looks like you've got a bad cell coming through.
Oh, we've got a lot of wind gusts coming through, and you can just see how choppy the water is over here. We're just getting sprayed just in the face. We're getting soaked out here, and you can see the water crashing up against the dock over here, just how strong these wind gusts are. This is right along Flagler Drive and Daytona. Over here, you can see just how much damage has already been. Some cleanup tree debris all over the road. Lots of branches and palm fronds that have kind of fallen over. Just driving down Flagler Drive, we've seen a lot of trees that have toppled over and snapped onto the road. We haven't seen any downed power poles or anything like that, so that's a good sign. But one thing we've also seen a lot of is police officers. So there's definitely a lot of police out in full force. I'm assuming making sure that people abide by that curfew and keeping an eye on any possible looters. But you can just see, people might think, oh, the worst is over. Absolutely not. We still have a lot of strong wind gusts out here that are very dangerous, and you could just see that by how choppy and rough the water is. And these boats out in the distance are rocking very, wow, yeah, you could just see how strong that is. We're trying to make sure we can still stand in this wind. So we're going to go ahead and toss it back to you in the studio. We'll keep an eye on things out here, but so far, no major damage that we've seen, just a lot of cleanup that will have to be done tomorrow.
Yeah, Michelle, I want to keep you on here. We've got Steve with you. Steve, tell us exactly the situation over Michelle right now.
Yeah, Michelle, describe where you are for Steve. Exactly, right along Flagler where?
Yeah, so we're right on Flagler Drive, right next to the water near Datura, the intersection at Datura downtown. We can see ER Bradley's from where we're standing. And this is just insane out here. The wind is just so strong, and we're getting just sprayed with water coming over.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, this is expected. I think a lot of people thought once the rain stopped, everything would turn sunny again, everything would be fine. But the winds are going to stick around through at least midnight, and I mean the big winds, you know, 70, 75 miles an hour, and then after that taper off after midnight.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, and there's no rain at all right now. This is just all winds and water coming over and just spraying us. There's absolutely no rain. This is all just coming from the waterway.
Really, the only rain we have right now is over Okeechobee.
Yeah, there's absolutely no rain downtown. We drove around.
Did you see that?
And it was
Look at that.
Further
That's all wind.
proof of exactly what you all
conditions are just so strong out here.
what you all are saying.
Yeah,
Those winds are
the
ferocious
latest.
out there.
Oh,
What are the wind gusts right now?
Yeah, they're about almost 70 miles an hour.
70 miles an hour?
How
Yeah.
strong, Steve?
70, gust to 70.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Steve. How strong are the winds out here?
70 miles an hour.
70 miles an hour.
The gusts.
Gusts.
We just checked actually a minute ago.
It's
You're feeling it.
and it's really hard to just stand out here. So we've definitely seen a lot of signs that have been wavering out here and giving way. So definitely it's kind of one of those situations where you got to look around and make sure you don't have anything flying out because of how strong the wind gusts are.
Your head's on a swivel. Please stay safe, Michelle. We see maybe some cover you can take behind you. We appreciate your report. We don't want to keep her out there too long.
Major flooding in Fort Pierce. Residents in an apartment complex, they can't drive their cars through flooded parking lots. Then they are now being told they have 48 hours to evacuate. The Now's Michelle Casada joining us live from Fort Pierce with how they're getting some help to leave. Michelle?
Well, Ashley, first of all, you can only get through here, as you can see, if you have a big truck or an SUV. If you have a small car, you can't make it through Sable Chase Apartments because everything is completely flooded. I'm going to show you once this tow truck passes by. And by the way, we've seen a lot of those coming in and taking those cars out. If you walk over here, this over here used to be a retention pond, or it is a retention pond, and you can't tell the difference between that and the roads inside of the complex and the parking lots. Now, residents have been given 48 hours by the city to evacuate permanently, to leave permanently. We've seen those U-Haul trucks showing up already to get some of those residents out. 144 units, I'm told, in total are being evacuated. Now, over here, if my photographer can follow me, these are the sandbags that people had put up, many sandbags like this across their sliding doors and their doors in front of their units. And they said that couldn't even keep the water out. The water was coming from the walls and from the bottom of the carpets under the foundation. So a lot of water damage in these apartments. The residents telling me they're just trying to scramble and find a way to get their belongings. Many of them know that there's a shelter open at Piercy Peak Gymnasium in Fort Pierce. And there are police officers who have been riding around in trucks, and they have been picking up residents, taking them to the shelter. But of course, many of them are saying, well, I can't leave my belongings behind. They're trying to scramble and find a way to be able to get to the shelter and get to other places. This is the sign they woke up to today from the city, telling them first floor units 48 hours to evacuate, and that was a shock to them because they thought they might have a little bit more time. Now, I have some information from the property management company. They tell me that they are going to try to get the prorated month of rent for September back to those residents and their security deposit expedited as soon as possible. But when that will happen, we're still waiting to get those answers. We have reached out to police and county officials. We're in communication with them to get more information on how these residents can get some help. For now, we'll toss it back to you. We're live in Fort Pierce. Michelle Casada for the Now South Florida.
Michelle,